Hi everyone. This is my first attempt recording with the microphone I bought. I bought a podcaster, a Rode podcaster, so that I could make a podcast with my friend Camilla. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I've yet to get the arm for it, because they'd sold out. They'd had a sale the week before I went in there, of course, and they'd sold out. But a whole bunch of trucks had arrived that day, so it looks like they'll be getting more in, so I can go in and get some more. This is fascinating, isn't it? Not really. Look, I guess I came on today because I just wanted to say, like, I haven't been feeling particularly great for the last couple of days, and I know I've been sort of quite, chipper in all of my other videos, and probably obnoxiously so. But I just wanted to point out that that's not necessarily always how I feel. Obviously, that's how I'm being portrayed in the video, as this kind of like obnoxiously upbeat dude, but really, I'm not like that all the time, and nobody is. And the last couple of days have been quite hard because I've had a lot of new equipment to get my head around. I bought a Mac, which it seems doesn't seem like a massive thing, but really, I've never sort of used one. I've used one for a project once, but even just something as simple as the filing system, just trying to get my head around how to access files. I mean, it's very simple, but it's been a bit of a steep learning curve. So I've had that to kind of get my head around, and GarageBand, which I'm trying to learn to be able to record the podcast and maybe do other things, and also some DJ software. So it's been pretty full on. Every time I look at videos online, it just feels like I'm information overload. So last couple of days I haven't been feeling particularly great, and yeah, I guess I wanted to come on and sort of talk about that and say about how we the image we project online in particular, through social media, as sort of that the fact that it's quite fickle, that it is really just the surface, and it doesn't actually sort of let people know how you're feeling. I mean, there have been plenty of times when I've been suffering from depression or whatever, and online it would appear, I've looked back at the photos, and there's nothing to even sort of mention that. There's, maybe a few angry posts here and there, but there's been nothing that sort of let people know how I've actually been feeling. And that's something that we don't really do on social media, or in general we don't really do, because we don't want people to worry. And it's kind of a bit silly, really, because the only way that we're going to be able to get through these things is with support. And it's easy to kind of shut off and kind of be that sort of person who deals with it themselves. Of course, that's what we all sort of have to do, and certainly when it comes to depression, there really isn't anybody else who can pull you out of it. But it's kind of like what we I guess we need to do that a bit more, is just let people know that when you're not feeling particularly well. And I admire my friends who do that, who get on and say things aren't going so great for me at the moment, because ultimately social media is about your friends, and it's about the people you care about, and it shouldn't just be that you care about them because they post cute things with fluffy animals, or because they never say anything negative on Facebook, or any of those things, because that's just such a small part of the human experience, and kind of a bit it's sort of projecting a false image and a false ideal. We're almost kind of like those magazines with the photoshopped women on the front, or these unreasonable expectations of happiness and joy and family and love and life. And even something as simple as sort of home magazines, home design magazines, or garden magazines, which I love, they've always got these images of these sort of like perfect women and men, in their perfect Sydney waterside homes, with their leg just at the right angle, and their head at, their legs akimbo, and their head like laughing just halfway through making breakfast for their kids and their six dogs, who happen to all just be sitting perfectly on the couch. And it's kind of ridiculous, because it's not the way people live. It's not the way we are. It's kind of just this sort of projection of and often photoshopped projection of kind of what this ideal. And it's kind of unfair, really. It's sort of putting this notion out there that everyone is perfect and everyone can be perfect, and hey, look at these people, aren't they great? And really, looking back on some of my videos, I suppose even I'm a bit guilty of that, and it could come across like that. So I did want to come on and just say, look, I'm not always super happy. I'm usually okay about things. I'm usually have a sort of not a happy, but I suppose less dark view of things, and a slightly more objective kind of view of things than I used to when I used to suffer from depression. I'm not depressed now. I just want to point that out. I'm not anything like that. It's just been a couple of shitty days. I've got all this new equipment, freaking out about it, and just having a couple of moments of self-doubt. But I mean, obviously they will pass. That's nothing major, but I did want everyone to know about it. Also, it's been bloody bucketing with rain for the last week or something, ever since I got my lightsaber, and I just really wanted to get out and have a go of it. And every night it's been like all the parks have been wet, and it's been raining, and it's been this and that, and so I haven't really had a chance to get out and use it. So it's kind of frustrating. I want to have a go of it, and yeah. Also, with the new Mac and everything like that, I just want to launch straight into it. I've got all this stuff I want to do, but I realize I have to go slowly. Unlike my talking right now, which is going at a rapid pace, but I do have to kind of slow down a little bit and realize that it will take a few months. I can't expect it all to just magically happen straight away. So, yeah, so I guess I'm kind of just slowing down right now. I might not be doing as many posts, and which is probably a good thing, because ultimately most of them haven't been particularly interesting. It's all just kind of been me. So I will get back to doing some ones that are a bit more about kind of important issues, I suppose. Less about my evolution, and more about just the experience of being a human being, and kind of like, I don't know. I just hope to some degree it's kind of pointing. It'll help people. I suppose it's really what I wanted, was that I'm hoping to start doing things that are way more entertaining, because ultimately that's the way to get noticed and get people to come to your thing. I can't, as I said before, I can't expect people to just want to watch it just because it's me. Like, hey, Jazzhead, it's me. It's the Stephen Warren chair. Stephen David Warren, I might add. It's so funny. I've been pretty pedantic about that lately, because that's my name and that's my company name, and so everything is now Stephen David Warren. I'm kind of being quite emphatic about that. When people ask what's your first name, I say Stephen David, because it's like I want it all there, and they're like, is that hyphenated? I should start saying yes, actually. That'll be even more pretentious. But yeah, it's kind of it's not all about me. Obviously my life is about me, but it's not all about me. So yeah, I guess this is just a way to say, guys, I'm not always what I appear to be, and nobody else is either, and we shouldn't have these unreasonable expectations of how people interact with us on social media, or how or make assumptions of how people are just based on the few little snippets we see of them. These few little videos, or celebrities, I mean, we can't make any assumption. Right now, I just saw that Shia LaBeouf is doing some thing where he's watching all of his movies in reverse chronological order, and it's being broadcast live on the internet. And my first thought was, oh, here we go, art. But then I thought, well, hang on. Well, I suppose it is art, and that's his form of expression, and it's kind of, he's doing his thing. And my assumption of him, based on like 2 seconds of seeing something, that an art project he's doing, is kind of like ridiculous, really. Here I am thinking, who's this guy? Like, but he's doing his thing. Like, that has nothing to do with who he is as a person on a daily level. This is just one form of expression he's putting out there. And who am I to judge? Who are any of us to judge, really? It's kind of weird. We do it a lot, don't we? We judge people based entirely on sort of fickle ideas, on sort of symbols, on how we see the world. I thought it was quite interesting once. I saw a picture in a magazine. It's something I'd thought about before, of a guy who was, in one shot he was dressed as a homeless man, and in the other shot he was dressed as a businessman. And I kind of thought, you know what? That's the same man. Like, the only thing that's different is about how we perceive him. And it's so true. Just we see the world in symbols and symbolism. And so when we see someone with glasses, we go through all of the times in our brain when we've seen someone with glasses, or what that's been associated with in the media, or that means intelligence, or they're a nerd, or they're this, or whatever, and we sort of create a bit more of an image of them, and then we see them wearing, you know, if they're hipster glasses, oh well, then that means this, and then we see them wearing like a shirt from the 90s, and then we think, okay, so what does that mean? And then we go through a brain and assess all of that, and the fact that they're wearing it now, and what does that mean in relation to, and ultimately all it is a friggin' pair of glasses, all it is a shirt, all it is some trousers, all it is some shoes. And that's obviously how they want to portray themselves to the world, but really it's just clothing, it's just a shell. It doesn't actually mean anything. And how we dress, it has nothing to do with who we are as a human being underneath all of that. And certainly if I end up homeless in the future, it's not going to mean that I'm necessarily a different person. I'm just in a different circumstance, and I'm perceived differently. And that's kind of in general, I think something that people do is just kind of immediately assess someone based entirely on their appearance. Then they start assessing them based on the small moments of behavior that they have in human interaction with them. And really, it's kind of stupid. We need to stop doing it. Stop coming with preconceived notions of who anyone is, because ultimately, um, some of the homeless people I've met have been friggin' amazing, and I would never have known that. There was this one guy in Melbourne once who was set up on a bridge, and he was doing this little puppet show with these little rubber frogs and things, and it was captivated the kids. You know, he had this like frog in his hand, and he was kind of like stroking it, and then he made it jump at the kids, and just something as simple as that. He was actually quite almost like a little creative genius. Little creative genius, don't mean to patronize, but he was absolutely amazingly clever, and he sort of turned a handkerchief into a bird, and he was just amazing. And I stopped and chatted with him for a bit, and he was a really lovely person. Okay, bye. Fuck, did you have to open the door right then? Have a good day. So he's off to work. Sorry, I just looked really pissed off then, didn't I? I was pissed off. I'm doing a podcast. It's not a podcast, it's called a vlog. I'm too tired. I'm a bicycle. Anyway, that dude was awesome. The end. Bye. So yeah, it turns out I don't think that I plugged in the microphone, but I don't think I was recording it. I was hoping it would record through the software for the camera, but it didn't. So it's not actually the sound from the road. So if anyone's thinking, geez, that microphone doesn't sound very good, it's just because, well, actually, it doesn't sound bad, does it really, for a webcam? But it's not. That wasn't that microphone. So yeah, the end. Bye. Slightly better ending than the last one, which is just like, yeah, I'm pissed off. Right, bye. I love you guys. Bye.